What's going on, everybody? Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me before we get too far in the stream. Audio check. Sounds pretty good. What's going on, Mark? What's going on, Nasser? What's going on, Edmund? Let's get ready to make some money. Scan the markets. Just sent out 2 new trades. Doc is just kind of at the top of entry, but I think you'll be able to get a little bit of a better entry. But Ved Mishra, what's going on, Ved? All right, I'm gonna let a few people roll in. We have about 20 people on. I have got a land shark lager. Decided to keep it beach theme. I also have some guacamole mix. What's up, Paul? How's it going, man? Joe Lopez. You're not late, man. You are 1 minute fashionably on time. Okay, so obviously we're going to scan the markets. We're at a very pivotal time. We already had our daily close. And I'm going to go through kind of how to scan the markets, kind of what to look for, especially if you're doing some intraday trading. I'll show you kind of top things to look for. The signals that we provide are a variety or a mix. Some are swing trades when they've got those higher targets, so you can afford to get in a little bit later sometimes, just because our targets are so high on T1 that your risk reward still kind of sustains getting in, a little above entry. But I like to try and ladder in. I'll add in kind of bottom of entry if the market's at a good place. But right now, alts are looking okay. They're not really dumping. They didn't really dump too hard on any of those Bitcoin movements. So right now, I'm fairly exposed to alts. I think I've got like 8 positions open myself. I'm still holding XRP. I probably could have shorted it. We almost got to that 4,000 mark, 39.50. But you know what? We're kind of at a pivotal place on XRP as well. So we're going to go through all those charts. So first off, let's start kind of like top of the market. So my first thing that I always look at every morning is dominance. So I've got a watch list just for dominance, so I can kind of get an idea of kind of what's trending. So right now, ADA dominance is actually up 1.4%, which is kind of interesting. And then I'm kind of scanning through and I'm looking at Bitcoin dominance. It's still around 68.7%. And then I kind of want to open up that Bitcoin dominance chart just to kind of see what the market's doing. And I like to buy alts when dominance is showing some weakness. We're going to minimize this. And you guys broke my computer. What's popping, Kevin? Is that ETHUSD signal still? Yeah. It actually came kind of right near our entry. What is going on here? Okay. Just load up waves, I guess. And a strategy tester, which is weird. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance. We had this, let's look at the daily. So we were in this kind of like basically neutral zone right here. Okay, and we hit this bounce point, which was our previous resistance. Came up, came down, bounced off of it, and then we formed this descending channel. We came down, touched it, support, became resistance. Very, very simple to see, okay? Came down, and if we would have broke down here, that would have been a hallelujah, pray to Jesus moment for altcoins, because we would have gotten a very nice 2.5% relief on dominance. But even still, we did break out, came up, didn't quite get to this previous level, and it looks like we're coming back down to test the 68.36% level. So this is a good sign for alts, especially on the daily with this candle right here. We take a look at the 4-hour. You can see that it's starting to trend down. So most likely we'll test the top of this resistance here before anything happens. So I don't mind being an alt right now, but if we do see this starting to bounce up, then that's when we kind of want to get out of alts. And for some reason, whatever reason, dominance really kind of adheres to similar crypto principles. I've talked to a lot of master traders kind of figuring out the logic behind it. But you can see this 200 MA on the 4-hour, and you can see the bounce point there. You can see the bounce point there. So it does hold true to technical analysis and technical indicators for whatever reason. So I use it. You know, there's big debate whether or not it's valid or non-valid, but you know, for me it works. It's really helped me time my alt entries and USD entries really well for altcoins. So dominance is looking a bit weak. We never cleared this 69% level. And really what I want to see is I want to see what kind of happens when we get back down to the 68% level. It was a previous resistance back here, previous support over here, once, twice, three. We had this nice candle back here. That's where this is where alts kind of got a little bit of wreckedness to them. So we're going to see what happens when we get back down to this trend line. So Bitcoin dominance looking a little weak. That's good. ADA dominance is for some reason kind of peaking up, and we're kind of in a consolidation pattern. ADA hasn't had much dominance on the market, and it looks like we're basically forming a falling wedge structure, but this also could be an accumulation structure because we do have higher lows forming, lower highs forming. So it really just looks like we're getting into this really, really tight wedge structure on ADA dominance. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to load up BTC. Now I like Bitstamp just kind of as a baseline, just because it helps to. Oops, let me actually use Binance. So let's take a look at Tether first, because Tether can have like an odd premium. So this was that chart that I posted in. Whoops, you got to put it on log. So I like the logarithmic chart, but so there's a few things. So we've got external trend lines. Okay. So if you go from the top, middle, and then we go on this line here, we had a lot of confluence at this level here. This was that 6,000 level, and this was the external trend line of the parabolic support before we broke out. And so we had a double trend line, basically confluence right here. And if I drew a fib, I'm sure we'd have some sort of confluence with fibs as well. Let's see if there's anything over here. And look at that. Perfectly the 50% Fibonacci level from swing high to swing low, from 20,000 down to 3,200. So there's a lot of confluence at this level, and that was a pretty decent level to kind of hold. But the problem right now is we're getting rejected on the 200 moving average as well as the 200 MA. Okay, and we have the golden, or the death cross, not the golden cross, the death cross coming. And the death cross isn't necessarily a death null for Bitcoin. There's been a couple of times where it was a lagging indicator and we got the death cross. And then, and I can just add the 50 MA here. Oops. And if you guys want me to, can we look at waves Bitcoin? Yeah. I'm going to go through all the trades. I just kind of want to start kind of high time frame and go through some of my logic here. So 50 MA. So we do have this 50 MA coming down on the downside here, and a 5,200 cross is usually not a good sign for Bitcoin on the daily. But on the weekly, we do have, all right. I'm going to have to do a new chart because I was doing a Peter Schiff chart as a bottom indicator here. So let me load chart. Let's see. We'll just do this one. Okay. So basically right now, if you saw the last analysis that I put on TradingView, we've got a rectangle formation and we bounced off that low. And these are usually consolidation patterns. Usually what happens is we drip, and then we kind of fill out this pattern, and this can last for 30 to 60 to 90 days. And then it usually impulses to the downside. We've got some support here, which lines up with this 6,400 level. Okay, so that's a definite possible support. So the goal is, once we get to the top of this range, to start hedging short or to start building a cash position. And if we break out, get the retest, then we can look at that. But that's my trade thesis right now that I'm definitely watching. I don't like consolidating without a strong push back to the top side. What I like to see with massive sell-offs is something like this, 40% pump, V-bottom reversals. So you can make money on the volatility, but when it gets into this like neutral territory where it just sits flat, like something like this, I don't like when it just kind of gets really choppy and rangy. I mean, you can definitely play the ups and downs, but usually that means a high volume break is coming from either the bottom side or the top side. So we just have to be a little extra cautious, especially when we get to the top or bottom of ranges. But the beautiful thing about this range right now is we've got really, really clear invalidation levels. Okay. So if you want to long and short top and bottom of the range, then what you can do is you can build a position and then set your stop, 5% below, and basically buy the bottom, sell the top of this range until it doesn't work anymore. So that's always a valid trade philosophy, and I know a lot of traders that are trading like that. I myself am not a range trader. I prefer to kind of play into trends, especially high time frame trends. And right now, basically, we're just kind of consolidating sideways. So again, we've got a few of those trend lines that we can watch out for. So a really simple way to use this is Ray. Pop this on the bottom. And again, this is the USD chart. It works a lot better on the USDT because of the little bit of a premium. But that was that lower trend line that we did tap. So I expect us to probably test this one more time, maybe around 8,000, which would also be a nice little pullback on here. And I expect us to at least bounce up here. Now we've got two patterns forming here. It could be a rectangle, but some people are calling it a megaphone or a right angle broad wedge. So the bottom is flat, the top is moving like this, which is usually bearish. I don't know if you guys have seen a right angle broad wedge and kind of how they form. Yo, what's up, Sonny? What's up, S-Taj? You guys can hear me okay? So this is an ascending broad wedge. I would call this more of a broadening, maybe a broadening bottom. Let's see. This is what I would see it more as, a right angle broadening wedge, basically where you got higher peaks, but then a flat on the bottom, and then sometimes you get like kind of a half pump and then a breakthrough, and that's where you can enter a short. We're getting a little bit of a push on Bitcoin right now, but really kind of tight consolidated range. My guess, just based on historicals, if we go on the daily, I want to show you guys this really quick. Let me see. Okay, so last Tuesday was the 15th. Okay, and then the Tuesday before that was the 8th. So, and then what was the last Tuesday? First. Okay. All right, so the last few Tuesdays, what we've seen is we've seen kind of a decent Monday, okay? And then we've seen a range high for the week and then a bleed down, okay? This one happened a little bit more on Wednesday, but this Tuesday was kind of the same thing. We had an okay Monday, kind of a nice little thing, and then we saw the Tuesday bleed down. So for whatever reason, especially in this kind of choppy market, we've seen Tuesdays kind of come up, sweep the highs. So maybe like 83, 8,400, maybe even we sweep a little bit higher, maybe 84, 8,500, and then it kind of bleeds down. Okay. And that's kind of where we're sitting right now is still choppy range market. The daily did not close that well. Whoops. The daily kind of closed as a spinning top, kind of like this back here, kind of like this back here, where it's a lot of indecision, kind of like this back here. Spinning top closed lower than the daily open back here. So this is a definite key level to watch. We've got, two daily opens, or daily open, daily close, and now we're showing up lower than that. So this is a decent place to hedge as well. I mean, you can hedge it back down to the daily open up back here. And this is just really short-term range-bound trading. And personally, I'm not a big fan of that style of trading. We did just get a swing high pump. You can see this here. So that is a very classic sign of a bearish move to the downside. You can see that here. You can see that here. It comes up, basically takes out the range high. This is more price action scalping trading. but it comes up, takes out the range high, and then the best time to get in is after a wick like that. Okay, so if you want to short here, you can target a little bit lower, top of the resistance here. But a short looks more likely than a long at this point, just because of that wick right there. But again, very choppy. They're stop hunting. You can see the wick right here. That's the one that I think took us out right before this, nice little 5% pump here. I think I had my stop at 7,900 or 7,850, and it came down, wicked into us, and then moved against our position. So the trade thesis was right, but I've been keeping my stops really, really tight because I don't want to see us get like really, really nuked hard in one direction. And the same thing happened up here. If you guys remember the last formal Bitcoin call, it was right here on the lower support. We got in on this wick. Our stop was 9,500, and then we basically got stopped out right here, right? So it nuked really, really hard, but we got stopped out because, I saw this wick and that looked like a long liquidation, but it was basically just kind of both ways. But we got out here and saved ourselves a 20% drop by keeping our stop loss really, really tight on this invalidation level. And so that's why my stop was so tight here, because if we broke through this level, then the long liquidations would really, really send us spiraling to the downside. Rupert Breaky, yo, JC in the house. Hell yeah, man. So I've been training an analyst, so I've been kind of in the back scenes, been doing a lot of work with a new analyst, getting him up to speed on the platform. And so yeah, I apologize for missing a couple of live streams, but also my daughter goes to bed at 7. So if you guys want me to do more, I can definitely do a lot more at 9 o'clock. I can do them, whenever you guys want at 9 o'clock. Okay, so I would not. So we did get this swing fail right here. But this is mid-range. You can take a short, with a stop above here. But for me personally, I like to wait for more of the extremes. Unfortunately, I did get a long in here, but we got stopped out right before the move. 2 more, thanks. Yeah, no problem. And so right now, target top side probably would be, 8,700 if we can break this 83 level. 8,300 is the monthly open. So if we zoom out to the monthly, you always want to make sure you look at all your levels, mark them off so you've got them. So previous monthly open was right here, 8,300. And then if you look at the weekly, take a look at the weekly level. And there's a super simple indicator that you can use. Just look up opens and the Fibonacci or even the Crypto Rob. It'll give you this nice oops, let me see, just show them. Can you see this? Let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you can use this one. You can change the colors to show color according to closing price. So what it'll do is it'll show you whether or not price is below the monthly or the weekly. So you can see that monthly is right at that 82.96 level. The weekly open was 82.36. And the daily open was right here, and we're currently below all three. So when we're below all three, usually that's bearish. When we can get above, that's usually bullish, just because those are strong levels all around. So super simple technique you can use there. So let's remove all that shit. Okay. So really just look at these wicks. I mean, they're on the daily, lots and lots of stop hunting. Not a safe scalping range to play unless you're playing really, really tight stops, keeping your risk management really, really solid, and entering in after those wicks. Link going for target 2. All right, let's take a look at our current trades. And let's take a look at ADA because it's popping off. Okay, ADX. Did anybody get in on ADX? I took a small position. That was one of my breakout trades here. I don't know which one. Where's the trades at? Oh no, wait. Which one did I put? Zen. Yeah. See, I love trades like this, guys. Comes down, beautiful 78.6% retrace, ADX. Super tight stop, 3% stop, targeting 11%, 972. The entry was 886. Did any of you guys got in? Jan Burkout got an ADX. Hell yeah, man. And so we've got this nice falling wedge structure right onto that 200 MA on the 4 hour. Beautiful support on both 78.6 4 hour. That's called confluence. We've already got a wick down into this zone. It was our breakout pump point. Previous wick topside here. So a lot of volume action there. And then let's take a look at how it worked out. So we're currently at 1,000 Satoshis, and this was just yesterday that I posted this. And you can see we came right off that weekly open, right? So here's our weekly open, and we just moved off it really, really nicely. And our monthly opens all the way down here. So we had this beautiful, and I'm going to go down to 4 hour here. So we had this beautiful 4 hour. Okay. Whoops. Which level did I lose? What level? Something like that. What the hell did I use even? Oh, right underneath the wick. Okay, I see. And then, oh, I'm on log. That's right. Okay, there you go. So sometimes when you're on logarithmic scale, it doesn't work as well when you're looking at lower time frames. Okay, so we had this beautiful 78.6% retrace. If we throw up our, we just put all our moving averages on there. And you can see we came right down to that 200 MA. Whoops. And just beautiful price action. So we've got a really, really simple and clear invalidation level. So literally 3% stop. And then, our target was that 980, 970 level. And we're already up, 13.5%. Coming into a little high time frame resistance. 61.8. If we can chop and hold, here, that's solid. But this is a good take profit target level, right? You make 12% on a trade, you get in, you get out, you compound it, you flip it to the next trade, and you just keep rolling with those trades like that, especially when you hit in less than a few hours. Okay. So really super simple falling wedge trade. We had a bullish divergence back here, basically double bottom right on that 78.6 in that 4 hour 200 MA. This 4 hour 200 MA is a really great bounce point on these altcoins, especially where we're in this nice little trending market like this. But so congrats to Jan on getting in on the ADX trade, and you guys can play as many or as few as those trades that I put out. That's just me scanning the market. When I see something juicy, I'll pull it out. All right, let's take a look at the hourly. Band is up 6%. So, I'm scanning the market like this, right? It looks like we've got a triple bullish divergence here on the hourly. So we've definitely got some exaggeration going on here. Coming up to a high time frame resistance. It's not quite ready for me yet. I would like to see a little bit more juice out of this. We did have this acceleration into the downtrend. Kind of broke down into the peak. If we can get above 50 on the RSI on the 4 hour, I might consider if we can flip this level, then this would be a good level to kind of come in for further upside. Okay. So the level is 4,400 basically. So what I'd want to see is I'd want to see a breakthrough and then it come back down and then a bounce up, and we'll probably hit this level here. But band, it's got some nice, let's see, volume. Now, this is just kind of like shitcoin scanning, right? So we're just kind of like scanning whatever's showing top of the market here. Oh, this one's looking a little spicy. POA, we've got some consolidation. It's uptrending. We're kind of working on getting up into the 70s. We're holding our 40 level, so kind of mid-range. Not enough volume, but it is steady climbing, and it looks like we're at kind of a key level here. Yeah, I'd probably give this a little bit more time, but it does look like we've got an ascending triangle for a push up. And when they do this right here, that's usually a sign that we're going to get another push topside because this clears the order books. I know I just said that was bearish on Bitcoin, but this is a different market, okay? Shitcoins, they clear the order books. See this here? They clear the order books and they test the market, and then boom, they clear the order books, they test the market. And then usually that's when they, put a 40-50% pump candle in. But when they clear the order books like this, they're also adding on to their supply. You can actually see they did it 3 freaking times in a row. Boom. That's whale activity right there. And you can see the little buy volume. Boom, whale activity. Boom, whale activity. Still holding that that 4-hour 200 MA. So invalidation level super simple on POA. I mean, that's 9%, but you could even go a little bit higher if you want to reduce it. But again, stop loss is fairly irrelevant. The reason why I use tight stop losses is because people don't practice proper risk management. So it's actually kind of a safety against people who didn't go through my risk management course, right? Any charts not posted with calls anymore? I never see them on the website. It's mostly because my analysts are trying to get out calls as trades are breaking out, but I can have them. I can request that they keep going back through and posting the charts. Okay, but yeah, so anyway, so clear invalidation level 9%, and then our target 12% to the top. That's not really a 2-to-1. That's a 1.24. But if you target even just this level here, that's a 26% move. And if you target a little bit higher, similar to 1, 2, 3. And you could probably even do a fib on this and kind of get, try to draw a conclusion about where this might be going. So this didn't really hit on any fibs. Let's see if there's anything else here that's kind of lining up for us. So the last kind of peak here, let's see if this is kind of moving. No, not really too much. Maybe the closing prices on these fibs. Okay, so that makes more sense. So the 1272, that shows up a lot in crypto. So the 1272 shows up here as kind of a price target, and then we'll probably get another 1272 here. 1272 price target here. So then if we draw one here and we just take a look at the 1272, let's delete some of this stuff. Let's delete some of this stuff. So the next 1272 is, right there. So, possible 75%, 80% swing trade. I mean, these are shit coins. I mean, they can do that in, a couple of days, but it's consolidating. I'd give that, a little bit of time, but if I was going to take a trade, that looks pretty damn good. Held it here, front ran it here, and it's just currently climbing. We got some wicks to the top side. So something like that. Do you guys want me to look at anything in particular? I'm just going to go through all our trades right now and kind of go through my logic and why we're holding some and not holding others. Okay, so XRP, we've been holding for a long time, basically since the 28, 50, 2900 level, depending on when you got into the chart. Oh boy, my baby's up. Okay, so we had a nice little breakout of this top resistance, but we came right back down into the channel. If we look at log looks basically about the same. Let's take a look at the daily. So daily, we didn't really hit much resistance here. We've got this as support, okay, but that's much lower down. That's 3,400. And then I was watching for this level to act as support, so that's 3,460. And so right now we've got 2 wicks to the downside, wick. And so I would love to see this thing move back up to test the top of this channel, as well as the 200 MA on the daily. And that's somewhere we can watch. And I don't expect it to break that on the first try. But when we're in an uptrend like this, we don't want to sell too early. I mean, sure, we could have, sold on a little bit of bearish divergence on the 4-hour, for a 5%. But when we're already up, close to 30%, we're still up 22%. But the goal is to hold and continue to hold for the 40 to 50% trades. And right here was my target. We usually see us at least push up to these previous support levels, and this one is really, really key. So 41.45, target 2 was 4,000. So that's where I was looking personally to get in on these trades. We do have a little support on the RSI. So this wasn't like a panic trade for me. I see a lot of people saying sell out of XRP, but volume's looking pretty decent. Buy volume. We had a little sell volume in the beginning, but this was a wick, and we entered right after that. We entered right here, but this wick was really someone filling their bags, right? This was a market sell down. Took out late entries. We had this nice pullback, but someone got long here, and then we pushed up. So I still expect us to push to the top side, depending on what Bitcoin and dominance does. So that's why I'm still holding my XRP. XR, yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's XRP. We're still holding it. Our stop loss is at 34.50. I like 34.50 because it's this level right here. We broke it. We held it once. We come down, held it twice. So if we break there, my guess is that we'll probably retrace at least back down to 3,000. So locking in at least 21% profit on that trade. BNB, they've had they're kind of at a weird place here in that it was previous support kind of flipping as resistance right here. So not a great play. I mean, this could have been a great place to take profit, but we haven't really seen. I mean, basically it kind of moved parabolic into our. Whoops. So we're testing the trend line right now. We had a little bit of bearish divergence on the daily. We've got a support here on the RSI. It was a peak, come down, test it. So until we break our trend line, I'm still holding my BNB. BNB is currently up. We got in at what, 19, almost damn near the bottom. So basically like right here, 19% profit. And obviously you can take profit at target one, right? 19% profit, but we're still up 15% profit on this trade. And this is, you know, a longer term swing trade. We've got 64% on our highest side target, 40% on our T2. And so if we can push out of this on the second level, then that would bring us right up to that T2, which is right here around that 27,000 mark. So those are my two targets. And then topside target is, right around this 200 MA. At the time, it was back here, 31.5, but now it's, you know, closer up here. So BNB XRP still holds. Link is a monster. Everyone and their brother was trying to short Link. Oh, let me see. Well, we got a nice little sell down here. Did we get let me see here. Oh, fucking cracking. Yeah, okay. All right, I was like, what the hell? Okay, so let's take a look at the 4 hour. Okay, so we got Link. Really nice entry on Link. I was going to send out Link and Matic again at the same time. They typically move together. Whoops. You can see Link penetrated this 70 mark on the 4 hour. That is a very, very bullish sign. So Link is another trade we can hold that's doing quite well. We're currently, oops. Well, I think, yeah. Okay, so this is a trend line. This is known as an, okay. So this is the trend line that I showed on the chart for Link. Came down, came to the apex. We bought with a stop loss below. We busted out. We actually tested it on a lower time frame. We broke out, tested it, and then we pushed up. So we're up pretty decent right now. 28,000. Where do we get in? We got in at like 20 right here. So yeah, we're up 12%. Are a lot of you guys in Link right now? And what I want you to do is always make sure you're looking at all your moving averages, because look at this beautiful, you know, touchdown on the 20 MA. That's what we saw on our signal. Jan, you're killing it, man. You've been doing really well. You've come a long way from when you first started trading with us. Okay, so nice push up. You know, expect a little bit of resistance on the daily resistance here, 33,000. Right there, it was resistance here. We had a wick to the top side. So if we can flip this, I very, very much expect Bitcoin Link to continue to push up, especially with that 70 penetration right here. That's not bearish yet. So, you know, if it rejects here really, really hard, then that would be a swing high failure. But right now, this thing is looking really, really nice. See that right there? That's called a swing high failure right there. That's what you don't want to see. Is when actually no, that's just a normal bearish push. But you see what happened? We came down and we tested this 200 MA, and the 200 MA loves to send it back up and retest for a potential double top. And how does Link USD look? Oh, that looks beautiful. Look at that 20 MA test right there, daily. So in this parabolic move, and when it moves into a parabolic move, the 7 EMA is our first support line. Once it breaks the 7 EMA, then the 20 MA is our next support. And so we can use this 20 MA not once but twice to continue to move upside. Do you expect swell to influence XRP price over the next couple weeks? Usually it kind of moves. I think there will be a possible entry into Link. We gave the entry into Link, and that was only like 5 days ago, but I can look for better entries into Link if you want. All right, let's take an ETH USDT. 60 cents from T1. Got pretty damn close. This is the daily. Really, really tight consolidation. Below most of our key moving averages on the daily, but the level that I was watching, what the hell was I looking at here? 1 hour maybe? All right, let me auto this. All right, so we came up and we, oh, whoops. Let me look at ETH USD. Okay. So we came up, tested the 200 MA on the hourly, got rejected really, really hard, came back down, found support on the 50 MA. Currently hanging out. I still like this trade because we did form a higher low here. So I'd hold. We got a nice tweezer bottom right here. And we'll see kind of how it reacts right there. Our stop is pretty tight. It's at 170, basically right at the swing low here. And that was just to kind of lower our risk. If we want, we can probably bump it up to 170, 140. If we come back down, I imagine that we're gonna break through this level because we've tested this a couple of times. And the more you test it, the weaker it gets. But I was hoping for a nice little breakthrough. The problem is the ETH BTC chart doesn't look that great. And I was really between Bitcoin USD and ETH USD, and I chose ETH USD instead of just sending both trades. But so right now we've got this descending falling wedge, a nice little bullish divergence on the RSI hourly. I still like this for now. We're currently testing this 200 EMA on the 4 hour ETH BTC. So I'm holding this trade right now. We tested it once back here. We tested it twice back here. I expect it at least to push up, but if not, we can close out for 1 to 2% loss. Okay, Sealer. So the trade with Sealer, this doesn't look great just because it's in a downtrend, but it's shown really, really solid support on this zone. And so our invalidation level is super, super clear. Okay. And so buying here with a push to the test top side for 8-10%, usually a pretty minimal risk trade. But I like buying on these support zones, especially when it's bounced, 3-4 times, just because, you should be able to get a bounce out of there pretty quickly. So that's why we entered Sealer. Mostly there was some volume coming into the IEOs, and Sealer was one of those that we were watching. Waves. Okay. This is a beautiful candle right here. That's exactly what we wanted to see. I was kind of highlighting. That is usually a bottoming candle, especially when you get this nice bullish candle afterwards. This pattern right here, I'd get really, really familiar with it. The bearish candle, the pin bar, and then the nice confirmation. Then you get the nice little pullback, and then a nice little bounce out of the entry. This is a great trade because, again, people get really, really nervous when prices are coming low because they don't want to buy supports. Okay, so we've got this very, very clear defined support right here. And when it comes down to support, for me, I just like to buy it with an invalidation level below it. Our stop loss is like 1% from the bottom of our entry. So if we get stopped out, okay, we missed out on 1%, with our stop. But if we can get the nice bounce, this is going to give us a nice little 15-20% trade all day, every day. We're in this nice little range. We've got these wicks to the top side, so we should be able to get our positions filled. But this looks like a very strong accumulation zone to push out of. We got a nice little 20-50 cross coming right here on the daily. The 100 MA is flattening down, and then the 200 MA is all the way up here top side. And so if we can break above that 100 MA, we've got a lot of room to go to the top side there. And I think our first target is 30% and our high side target is 54%. So, and there's a lot of FA going on with Waves right now. There's a rumored Link Waves partnership. There's some staking that was introduced, and Waves is a really, really good decentralized wallet with good tech. So Ooh, awesome to know. Cheers. Well, I don't remember what awesome to know was. If you guys have any questions, guys, make sure you're writing them in chat so I can go through them as we're going through this stuff. I'm hoping this, if it's helping, just let me know. I know that Chinggis and I have very different styles. Okay, so data. This is like a super simple, clear uptrend chart, right? I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer daily. We're holding the 20 MA, and this thing just looks like it wants to just bust out up to the 200 MA, right? Is it too late to enter waves? No, man, we're not even. We're at the lower part of our entry. I gave a 9,700 all the way up to 10,000. So I gave like a good 2 to 3%. So some of these low volume coins, I've been trying to kind of open up those entries. Unfortunately, I mean, they're low volume, so you got to kind of wait for them to settle to get those entries. Like I played what coin was it? Not S&T. Let me look at our close trades here. AppC. I played AppC 3 freaking times. It came down to 425. I bought it. It went back up to like 450. I sold it. It came down to 425. I bought it. So I played that like 3 or 4 times. I mean, there was a nice little range, a scalping range on it. S&M, I think we closed that right at above break even, 144. Mana, we took I think a 2% loss on that. Dusk didn't do what I wanted it to do, but we got that first target. Zcash is super freaking annoying. Came down, wicked us out of that lower entry zone, which basically like a 1% loss, but then it's back above entry. Neo is actually closing in on target 1 after it closes out on the top side of the entry, which is kind of annoying. But again, I'm keeping our risk really, really tight, and I hope you guys don't mind that. But I find that my performance is much, much better whenever I'm moving my stop losses up and just kind of getting out of trades quickly because, the few trades that it doesn't happen. So this is a really, really clear uptrend. I like data because it looks a lot like bread. Right, so this just looks like market makers just kind of like grinding this thing up, and usually it kind of breaks the floodgates, and then we see this nice little push for like 20, 30, 40%. And if that happens, just set your trailing take profit. But yeah, so it's grinding up right now. I think I think our first target is So hopefully this kind of gives you some idea of what we're looking for. Yeah, our first target is 6%, 164. Should be able to hit that pretty freaking easy. But it's just steady grinding. Very clear invalidation level if we break down below here. But I expect this to definitely exceed 6% just because of this kind of grind that it's on right now. Doc, AMB. AMB is another one of those. It was kind of bull flag structure. Right at the 200 MA daily if we can clear this, but definitely a danger zone, but we're holding this uptrend really, really nice. And on the 4 hour, it looks really, really beautiful. Holding the 20 MA, nice uptrend structure. And this looks like it just wants to continue. And AMB has some pretty nice fundamentals. So we'll kind of watch it from here. We already took 5% off. Around 430, and we're just above entry. And I'm actually going to trail the stop loss up on this right now. If you got your 3 commas open, I'm just going to trail it to so that's 400. I don't want to get stopped out of this too quickly, but we did flip this level here. I mean, we could probably just go 405, so bottom of the entry. Just in case this thing wants to dump, like if Bitcoin decides to do some fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to raise up stop on AMB. CHZ, more juice left. Yep, well, I'll take a look at CHZ. CHZ is an interesting one. CHZ, I'm mad I missed out on that one. I didn't think it was going to move as hard as it did. I honestly thought COS was going to do something, but it keeps breaking down, and I'm glad I haven't signaled that at all because COS has given some signs that it wants to break out a couple of times. All right. ADX, yeah, so we're hitting that high time frame resistance. We'll see if we can close above the 61.8 there, but band key link. Oh yeah, baby, come on, come to Papa. Oh yeah, there we go. We're moving into that nice little parabolic expansion. If we can flip this level, guys, that's the level we want. See where our RSI is at. So RSI is pushing up. Beautiful entry on Link. Just an absolute beautiful entry. Right at the apex. Beautiful, very clear invalidation levels. And you guys can make these trades all day. When you get to the apex of the triangle, sometimes you don't have to wait for it to break out. Sometimes you can just buy right on support, set a 2% stop loss, and then just hold that guy, especially a coin like Link. Link is just trending on all time frames. We had this beautiful internal trend line here, forming this nice, very classic bull flag structure along that support right there. But all right, let's take a look at, it's cost. Oh my gosh, see this son of a bitch. Was that the last hour? 8%. See, I've been watching this trade forever, but it just kept breaking down. Okay, on the 4 hour though, we'll see if we can flip this 200 MA, which it's kind of trying to do right now. But I've been watching this trade for a while. I thought this was going to pull a CHZ, to be honest. It was compressing, getting really, really tightly wound. And that was the bounce point right there. It looks like basically they just swept the low to get a nice fill, and that definitely happens. So you see what they did? That's a bear trap right there, and that's what I was watching for on waves. Same exact setup as I posted in the live trade updates, right? So you got this falling wedge structure, but what they do is they bring it right below here so they can build some liquidity. And remember that kind of like 3 candle structure. It's really similar though. You get this bearish candle, indecision candle, bullish candle, close above previous resistance, boom, and then take off. And then you can set your stop right here. So when you see that kind of pattern formation, and you usually want to wait until it sweeps this swing low like that. So we had this previous support, came down, filled liquidity, and I'm sure you're going to see a nice little volume spike off of that level. Yeah, right there. That's the volume spike. It's got a nice fill right there, and then boom, nice buy push off that level. So I'll be watching that though. So okay, so CHZ. Looks like we're trying to flip. Let's zoom into the 1 hour, see what we've got here. This kind of reminds me of Ren, to be honest. Let's take a look at the Ray. Yeah, that looks like a little bit more of a bear trap. This is more of the ascending. Okay, so right now we've got a channel. And I'm sure this channel lines up with some sort of moving average. So let's take a look at our moving averages too. 50 MA, 4 hour. Okay, so 20 MA on the 4 hour. There's our money entry point. Boom, boom, push up, come back down. Test it again. So the 20 MA, it looks like our money entry point. So we missed the entry here on CHZ. I was looking at some other coins, but let's see what we can do. This is a coin that I probably wouldn't mind buying into. I'd have to look at the order books as well. Probably below the 20 MA if we get a pullback, but just target the top of the channel and then close the trade out. So 119, 110 stop loss. This is pretty bearish though. Let me look at them. But we do have this ascending channel that looks pretty damn good. Kind of mixed. We're a little bit overbought, but we did hold that 20 MA really well. What I'd prefer to do if I was going to send a signal on this, I would myself just kind of wait for a pullback to test like the 786 200 EMA 200 MA on the 4 hour or the 20 MA. So maybe a pullback to the 61.8 20 MA on the daily. So that's what I would look for, but sometimes you don't get those pullbacks when you want them. Let me remove our drawing tools. We are right at that key level. I really got to learn to use MAs more. Remind Raven. How do you bring up the coin scanner on the right TV? Okay, so these are called watch lists. These are all my personal watch lists, but they are available back end of the website. And I do have some courses that I'm going to be putting in the back end of the website. But under training, if you go to the heck is that at? Trading class, advanced trading classes. Creating watch lists for scanning markets. There's a video on how to do it. And then I've got the Binance BTC, Binance ETH, Binance USDT, BitMEX, Bittrex BTC, Bittrex ETH. But what I got to do is I've got to add in the new Binance pairs because there's a ton, the new Binance USDT pairs. So I'll have to export these and then I'll upload them. But then also I've got to add in Bybit, Coinbase, and my dominance charts. I mean, I've got a lot of, different, I got the Forex charts, so if I'm looking at, different currency pairs, I've got FTX, which is a new exchange that's more of a margin trading exchange. They've got these Doom and Moon tokens. Very strange. The liquidity's not great, but and then I've got the Coinbase charts, and then I've got weed stocks. So I got a few things that I watch here. Dominance, dead cap. Current trades is kind of how I keep a close eye on what we're trading, so I can see if something's breaking down or breaking out or how it's looking, kind of at a glance. I know all my entries. I know we entered here around 172, so I'm looking at it. All right, cool, we're above entry, and then I'll take a look at the chart and see if there's anything that's kind of giving me some worry. So I can quickly kind of open these up and just be able to look at QSP. This is another one of our trades. So QSP pushing, I think we're at top of the entry, but QSP and this high time frame push up. We've got this beautiful bounce off the 4-hour 200 EMA. And so could have got an entry down here, but it was kind of in a weird falling wedge structure. But, I like to buy in these uptrends, especially when it's nice volume. And you can see it's kind of steady uptrending. So buying on these pullbacks and these nice steady uptrends is always a good play on these low cap shitcoins. I think we covered all of our trades. XBT USD looks like it's breaking down a little bit. Holding the 100 MA on the 4-hour for now. And you can see we tested it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, kind of pushed up a couple of times. We've held it 1, 2, and we're kind of testing it right now. So we'll see if we can hold that. But if we break down from here, I'll definitely be calling out an entry. Most likely there's 2 support levels. There's one here, which lines up with the 20 MA 4-hour, and then there's this breakout point here, which was that 8,000 level. But I am being very, very cautious on Bitcoin and just mostly just playing with my Bitcoin trading stack for now. Thanks, mate. Regarding order books as reference with CHC, what is something you briefly look for? Yeah, we can open it up. Did you do the new Chewish trades? I'll look at them in a second. Okay, so one thing you want to look for. What is this? Is my thing opening up weird? Why is this? What in the world? Oh, BNT. Jeez, I was like, what the hell is going on here? And let's look at buy side. So the order book's pretty decent. I mean, we've got all the way down to 110. We've got about 20 Bitcoin. Let's look at the sell side though. So kind of at a standstill right now. Sell side looks pretty thick as well. But it's pushing up really, really nicely. I'm not really seeing many transactions go through. Looks like bots are kind of push through. So what I want to see is I want to see real orders in the books. I want to make sure that people are actually trading it. This 88, that's kind of like a market maker that kind of goes back and forth. Got a nice four Bitcoin buy wall. I like to see like, nice thick, 10, 15 Bitcoin orders on the buy side, letting me know that kind of someone's pushing it up. And a lot of times, believe it or not, if you see like a really, really big wall on the sell side, that's somebody holding price down to keep the price suppressed so that they can accumulate. So buy walls are usually bearish at the top of a range, like when it's high, like up here. You'll see like a big buy wall up here as they exit their position because they're just kind of keeping the price up. So, okay, so something for you guys though, just when you're trading, what you can do is just do a quick volume scan. Look at MFT, 1 MF in volume over the last 24 hours. It's like impossible to trade a coin like that. But DOC has the highest volume right now. And we saw that on our volume scanner, look at that 4,607 volume. And we're in DOC right now. And I showed you the chart on it, but the volume is really, really strong. It had this really nice breakout volume. But when volume is like that, that's a coin you want to play because the liquidity is great, lots and lots of volume. Somebody actually said this morning, like, what's up with these low volume shit coins? This is the highest volume on Binance right now. And then, you go through and take a look at the rest of these and see if there's anything that kind of pops out that hasn't really had much movement. So NKN, it's got 309 Bitcoin volume. Atom. So these are coins that I'd kind of throw into my watch list. Doji was recently listed on the FTX exchange. Looks like we're about to get a MACD cross on the hourly for DOC. If you take a look at the daily, and I would definitely use these moving averages because for some reason the algos or the market makers use the default Binance. The default Binance moving averages. So I think they're the 33, the 25, the 90, 25 and 99 MAs. And I think there's an EMA that I added on there. But did you do the 2 newest trades? No, I can do that real quick. DOC and Matic. So DOC, we got in touch of the basically top of the entry, high volume. Our first target 6%, but I think that we should be able to at least achieve target 2 with more just because the volume is like, crazy right now. NKN, let's take a look. It's got some nice volume. Too early on that one. All right, so super tight consolidation after this scam wick to the top side. Not a lot of volume, kind of flat after this kind of move right here. I'd probably wait for a little bit of a deeper retrace on NKN. I have been watching it though. But definitely keep it on your radar. Okay, so that's how I kind of look for volume on those coins. And data, that's kind of what I was talking about before. It's going to grind up until we eventually get that break. All right. Scan the market real quick. ADX top gainer. We're over 1,000. I gave that yesterday. Zen, we got that nice pullback. Bounce. That was another trade that I gave. I missed this exit here, which was 20%, but it came down, tested nicely. Currently up 12%, and I think my entry was like 4,700 that I gave. So at least up 9%. So watch those trades. If you want to be more exposure, if you want more trades, I put a lot of trades out, and a lot of them have a really high success rate. So just follow a lot of those trades. S&T, I sold when we broke this 200 MA on the 4-hour, but it looks like we're kind of testing that again. All right, let's take a look at ADA because ADA dominance was starting to rise. Okay, so this is interesting. A little bit of a breakdown retest, or sorry, a breakout retest. And you see how deep it goes, but that is basically a valid retest there. And even though you kind of get a little bit of a, let me do this. So even though you get a little bit of a breakdown, it's still a nice retest, okay? And so we're pushing up. So this thing looks like it could, this might be a good margin trade on BitMEX actually. So let me close out all these so it's a little bit cleaner. Let's mark off our levels. So let's take a look at the weekly. So weekly resistance is here. Weekly support is here, and that's right where we came down, tested. And then let's take a look at our daily. So daily open is here. And see we've got that same pattern that I was talking about before. Bearish candle, drop down, nice buyback. That's called a pin bar. And then a nice bullish candle, pullback, and then continue upside. I really like this pattern. It shows up a lot in trading. And once you start to recognize the way that this structure looks, you can usually make a lot of money with it. Let's see if we can identify any of these other setups. Not too many pin bars. No. See all the wicks are top side here, but the wick is bottom side here. So that's usually a nice reaction off that. Okay. And then Matic. Matic, I gave out earlier when it was, I think, 167, 169 or something like that. I gave that out maybe in chat, maybe in continuation trades. Link, BNB, nice 32%. Let me see. And then BAT. Let's take a look at BAT, because BAT I gave October 11th. October 11th. Right here. So I did say there was some bearishness to BAT. It's actually holding up a little better than I thought it would. I thought this was going to break down much faster. What are you guys drinking? You guys drinking any beers? Hanging out? We've got about 30 people in here. So still holding the trend line, but this did pretty well. This did 32% off that initial continuation trade. I really like those continuation trades. They usually do really, really well. ZRX, we got out way freaking too early. Link. Okay. Going through. I think this is, Rep USD. Zen BTC. Oh, Cocos USDT. Let's take a look at Cocos. Let's take a look at the chart and then we'll compare. So I'll show you what I was watching for. So this was the chart. Price level entry was 875. Stop loss was 824. We might have gotten stopped out on this. I don't think so though. Unless that took us out. I think mine's still active though. Yeah, so we got this deep wick, but I don't think this took me out. I'll have to check out my 3 commas. I only have like $5,000 on Coinbase Pro though, or in Binance USDT. Most of it is in Bitcoin. Choppy chart, but what day was that? Yeah, that was just yesterday. I'll have to look at my 3 commas and see if I got taken out of this trade. Might have. 822. Knocking back a few Heineken, soaking up the info. Fiver tree with gunpowder, Irish gin. Coffee, 1 p.m. here in Australia. Oh, man. What part of Australia do you guys live in? Australia also with JNB. Middle of the day, so coffee. Mark Hicks has got the Heineken. Fiver tree with gunpowder, Irish gin. That sounds pretty good, Joe. Do you guys want me to cover anything specific? I'm just kind of showing you how I scan the market, but this looks like a nice little accumulation range. It swept the lows. This would have been a really great entry. Fortunately, I think that's where my stop loss was. So I'll check 3 commas in a second to see kind of what happened there. But I'll upload the new watch lists into the back end here. But so watch for that. And let's delete all this stuff. 1 hour. So we are seeing that short to the downside. We'll see if we can break this level here. See, that would be the level for me to break, to go real heavy short. Because see, we've got this step ladder. So we broke up. And each, all the way down, we basically had this step ladder. If you guys saw my live market update on it. We had this step ladder where we broke down, came up, retested, rejected. Came up, retested, rejected. Came up, retested, rejected. Now we broke up, step ladder up, hold. If we can hold this as support, then we should see kind of a consolidation and then a break up. Boom, hold. Something like that. So this is usually bearish, but when we break down and we hold a level like this, I'm gonna kind of take my time a little bit, and a good long place could be here as we sweep this low here, and then it reverses to the top side. Melbourne here. A few other common patterns. Algo USD looks good. Yeah, so let's take a look at Coinbase, and then I'll look at the USDT pair. All right, so let's see what's trending. Oh, it's our boy, Link. 275. Oh, man, I got to troll some people on Twitter that were telling me I was turning into a Link Marine. So we are, doing pretty well here, pushing top side. Coming up, let's see. Let me see if there's any resistance here. Nope. Oh, that looks pretty good. So Link, top gainer on Coinbase there. XTZ looks like absolute shit from a market maker perspective. Really, I mean, look at these freaking wicks. What the hell do you do with that? It looks like a barcode. Look at that. I think I gave an XTZ chart before, but coming up from the bottom side, this looks like a bearish retest, broke down, retest, and then kind of heading to lower levels. XTZ does have some fundamentals with it, but they've I'm not a huge fan of this coin, but I do know some people who are pretty smart in the space that actually like it. CVC. Nothing yet on CVC. XRP USD holding our 100 MA. Look at that, actually. We've got a test there. We had a test here, a little bit front ran. Came up, tested it once, and look at that. That's what we want to see right there. So we should test up and push up here, but I like that 100 MA retest right there. All right, let's keep going. ETC looks like we've got a bullish divergence, but I just do not like trading ETC. Ever since its fork, I've just been burned on ETC. So Loom, they just announced that whole Samsung thing, and we're right at the base of support. So this isn't actually a terrible trade, just because we have a really, really clear and obvious invalidation level. And we made a higher low. So you could go swing low, but I'd probably keep it, a little bit more there. So you could probably, open up your stop, 9.5%, just, calculate your position size. But it is below all the key moving averages, and I think there's probably better trades than that. Stellar Lumen above the 20, above the 50 MA on the daily. This usually likes to move with Ripple. We had, what the hell is that? I don't even think I saw that on any other exchange. 117% wick. Just September 17th, rejected by the 100 MA. So we're coming up on that 100 MA, but Stellar Lumen, that's one definitely I'd keep on my watch list. LTC looks really, really terrible. I don't like LTC right now. It is holding this like really, really flat support level, which was previous support back here or previous resistance back here. But I just don't like the way this looks. It isn't a falling wedge structure. And so I would personally wait for this falling wedge structure to play out before I get any sort of, we could see like a little push here, but I'd want to see a breakout retest of this falling wedge before I get into LTC at all. And let me see how this looks from a fib level. Yeah, we're not quite to the 78.6 level. Close though. Would you hold link? Okay, if we hit link BTC second target, what level would we move stop loss up to? I'll take a look at it in just a second. ZIL and Theta, please. All right, cool. I think somebody asked about Algo USD. Not too good. There's not much of a trend here. Looks a little bit bear flaggish. Kind of got this pin bar here, but this wasn't a very convincing bullish confirmation. Usually when you see a pin bar like that, you want to see a candle like this. You usually want to see a bullish engulfing, get back in the channel, hold it as support. So Algo USD daily doesn't look like anything that I'd want to trade yet. Let's see. RSI, we had a 3 bearish drive. Maybe. Yeah, not too pleased with this. Rep is looking weird. I don't trade USD super often. I mostly just trade BTC. So when I look at USD pairs, it's always interesting. Let's see. Rep USD holding this lower support level. I mean, this is a pretty. You could probably just play this kind of bottom of range, top of range. You can even go to this wick 5%. That's 2 to 1. Even if you go to here, that's 25%. I think I was looking at a Rep USD trade before, but holding the support level really well. I'd watch for kind of a sweep of this swing low here, but not a bad trade. I mean, it's very, very obvious and clear. And then after I look at that, I'd probably want to go to the Rep BTC chart and see how that looks. Kind of wicks both ways. Not a lot of interest. Kind of holding flat for now. This thing looks like it's just waiting on some sort of catalyst to move up or down. Hot BTC. I would recommend using the USDT chart for hot. I charted this earlier, but basically we're at this high time frame resistance. The 7 level was actually not too bad to accumulate, or I guess the 8 level. Came up, hit this resistance level, and so I expect maybe we fall. But if we break out, then that's good. It's got some good fundamentals, but it's definitely had suffered quite a bit for anybody that has been holding. I know some of our members, like Fab, I think he got in on the ICO along with a few other members. They got in the ICO and on IDEX. I think a few people did. Hot USDT, we did flip. Oops. Hot USDT, I was watching this the other day. So I would look for a re-entry around 82.80. So I'll keep an eye out. So one thing you can do is, okay, so we've got this kind of channel that's formed. We had a little bit of a breakout. Looks like a little bit of a resistance level here. And so watching for this pullback, that we got double confluence, trend line, horizontal. So what you can do is you can set an alert like right here. Add alert. And then just down here, possible long entry on hot USDT on support for diag/horizontal. Create that, and that's one way you can just set an alert. So you set it a little bit above your entry point, just so it kind of notifies you, and then you can pull up the chart and take a look. And make sure you use good notes on that stuff. So at any point in time, I have you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of alerts that I'm watching. Zil and Theta. Theta is one that I am watching really, really close. I actually really, really, really like this chart. I think that this thing's going to blow up like Matic. So watching this one for a possible push out of this triangle. But this is a very good accumulation zone, especially right here. This looks like nothing but accumulation. I do not foresee this one breaking down. But I was looking, I pulled this chart up on October 5th, and I was waiting for a touch more down to this 960, 970 level for an entry, as we've had 1, 2, 3 touches. But yeah, we're getting really, really tight and consolidated here. So I think maybe, you know, another week or two, and we see this thing really, really start to move. ZIL BTC. Waves is back up to 9,800. Sweet. Okay. Link is about to hit 18% profit. See? Fortune favors the patient. Link and BNB were sitting in our entries for how many days, guys? BNB was sitting in our entry for frickin' 2 weeks, I think. Maybe even 7 days before it just popped to 18%. So just about being patient with these swing trades. XRP, I think, was in our buy zone for, we issued that signal 3 weeks ago. So, you know, long-term swing trade, but that was in our buy zone for, I think, like 4 or 5 days. So just be patient, you know, like waves sitting on the lower end of that buy zone, but people psychologically, they for some reason, you know, they don't want to buy the lower end of the buy zone. They want to buy support, but the lower end of the buy zone has made us a lot of money in the last 2.5 months. Okay, ZIL BTC. Oh, this is actually a good trade. Nice little breakout right here. I might throw a little trade on this. So this actually looks pretty good. Nice little breakout. You know, 4% stop loss. Target at the top of the wedge, 18%. Nice little bullish pennant. A little long for a bullish pennant. It's a little bit extended, but basically you got the ABCDE pattern, and I'm guessing this is probably really, really close to 78.6. Yeah, pretty damn close. About a Satoshi away. So we had the nice breakout. You could even wait for just a quick retrace down to 64 sats. What's it at, 66? You'll probably see just a little quick dip down to 64 sats, and then a push up. But that looks good. I don't mind that at all. It looks like we've got a little bit of a inverse head and shoulders forming here with a neckline around here. So ZIL looks pretty dang good. Good catch. Who was that? Mayak Banik. Yeah, ZIL and Theta, man. Good trades. Those are both looking pretty solid. Not a lot of volume, though. We'll take a look at the volume. 23 Bitcoin volume, you know. So if I sent that signal out, it'd probably be at 60, 68, 60, 69. Let's take a look at the, take a look at the order books here. Yeah, so we should be able to get 64. But yeah, that looks pretty good. It had a nice little breakout. See this moving average right here, the 25 MA? Boom, broke that 25 MA. And look at that. I hadn't done that the whole time. Little indecision, held the support, and then it broke through. MACD crossing upside on the 4 hour. Daily, kind of flat, but 4 hour looking pretty good. MACD crossed to the upside with some strength. Okay, guys, I've been going 80 minutes. Is there anything else you guys want me to cover? Covered a lot of charts, a lot of coins, a lot of things that we tend to look for. Again, if you're looking for some extra trades, just WTC, BTC. Okay, sorry. There were 2 other trades. What in the world is going on here? I don't like this yet. Got a little bit of a higher low here. That would have been a really nice candle. Come on, we don't see that at all over here. All in all, this looks like a pretty massive downtrend. Daily. Yeah, I'm not liking this chart too much, man. Yeah, I'd wait for some structure first. Wabi had a nice breakout. I was considering sending a trade on Wabi. This looks like it's going to want to continue to the upside pretty nicely. See, there's a lot of opportunity trades right now. Problem is, like, which ones do you go with? Most of the trades we're going for are try to be high volume, but a big factor that we tend to look at when we do our analyst meetings is opportunity cost. How long is this going to take to move? We want to make sure that people are seeing consistent gains. We got a nice little head and shoulders here, nice little breakout. Look for the retest and then a push up. Pretty clear invalidation level low. This looks pretty good, and there's like literally no resistance at all, basically till this level. I mean, this thing looks pretty clear. We can use the VPVR and kind of confirm that. But yeah, VPVR kind of confirms that exactly. I'll upload them tonight. That's after the stream. See that? So huge gap. So if we can break this level right here, whoops. If we can break this level here, we should see Wabi just, so we'll break it, flip it. Huge gap in the resistance here. And so TP would be 31.95, which it's not bad. 100% trade. It's not going to go there in a straight line, but the risk reward is worth it. 11% stop loss. Keep your capital risk 1 to 2%. That's a trade worth it, just because the structure of the chart looks like we've got a nice little bottoming structure, nice little spring, wick off accumulation. You can also turn on your pivot point standard just to get a little bit more of an idea of where your targets can be. We can also look at Fibonacci extensions, all kinds of different things to get those. So R3 would be 2481. So target 1 would be 1920. Target 2 would be 2500, and then our moon target would be 3200. And that's if this triangle support holds right here, but looks pretty darn good. You guys found some good trades, so keep up the good work. You got some really good eyes going on. All right, perfect, guys. We've gone about 80 minutes. Appreciate you watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to tag me in Discord. Hopefully you guys are getting some good stuff out of these live streams with Chinggis. I'll be back on a lot more live streams soon. We do have a diagonal resistance here as well, but Jan B, absolutely, man. Glad you're getting so much out of this stuff. Mark Hicks, 50-50. What does 50-50 mean, brother? Bruce Morton, that was great. Thanks. No problem. And these are always available for replay in the Discord. But we'll try to make a little bit more of a section. Yeah, this thing looks like it's gonna want to kind of pull back here, back to the 8,000 level. Really insightful. Cheers, JC. No problem. All right, perfect. I'm gonna pop off now, and I'll keep scanning the market, but keep an eye out. And Link looks like we're moving up. Ooh, XRP moving. Let's take a look. Yes, sir. Got that SR flip right there. I mean, that was our validation level. I got a lot of shit for XRP and Link. But this is how we are rewarded. Look at that beautiful falling wedge structure. Delicious. So one thing that not a lot of people like to use are internal trend lines. These are just as valid as external trend lines, and I really, really like these internal trend lines. For some reason, I really like to play these. And these are, I call these internal points of control. So you can see we found resistance, support, came up, hit it as resistance, came up, hit it as resistance, and then boom, we broke out, and now we're moving. Great stream. Have a good night, JC. That was very helpful. Absolutely. XRP mooning just like we want. Link getting rejected at our high time frame resistance. You son of a bitch. But again, we've got this trend line here, so we'll just have to watch it and make sure we don't get dumped on too hard here. In lots of profit, but again, you can always cut the trade, re-enter. But again, right here's our invalidation level, 32,244, which would lock in basically 8%, difference of about 4%. But if we bounce here, then the upside is much more. But we are at this resistance 1, 2, 3. But this is the fourth door knocking, so let's hope it kind of breaks up. And we'll just do a quick scan. XBT kind of looking not so great. And then ETHUSD pushing up right now, 174.35. And then BTC. Yeah, this actually looks pretty good. Can't imagine we don't get our first target. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you guys on the next.